he really exceeded every single expectation that I had for him, maybe for the entire season, in the first game that he played coming back from that injury.
Amateur Hour Chiefs Podcast. Amateur Hour Chiefs Podcast. Amateur Hour Podcast on KC Sports Network. Amateur on KC Sports Network. Hour on KC Sports Network. Podcast on KC Sports Net. We're gonna talk Chiefs football for you, and you, and you, and you.
What is this, amateur hour?
Yeah, I ain't no Superman businessman like you. You know, I'm just an
amateur,
I suppose.
Amateur hour
Is what's happening.
Amateur hour
Is what's happening.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
Yeah, that's right, folks. The show is called Amateur Hour. I'm Ryan Scott Hall, and joining me today, he's definitely thrown 4 touchdowns more recently than the middle of the 2023 season. Folks, it's his Dirkness.
Sup? Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan. Guess what?
What?
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
What?
We're back.
Oh, we're back.
The Chiefs are back.
The
And
Chiefs,
Amateur is back.
the Chiefs are back. Amateur Hour is in fact back
Yeah.
as well. Interesting. We're back.
Yeah, did you see that?
Dirk, after scoring 22 points against the Giants, I told you that we were back in a big, big way.
It was a soft back, wasn't it? Because you called it soft, and then we were back. It was a soft back. It's a
Soft
one.
back. Yeah, but then you said that the Super Bowl hangover was lifted at halftime of that Giants game. And now, 1 week later, just about everybody and their in-laws have come around on the Chiefs. Okay?
I mean, you know what's underrated?
Mm.
The day after the hangover.
Oh.
You know, you go out and party, you have a great time. Next day is terrible. I get that. Some people can't handle it. That's fine. The day after that, you're feeling fine again.
Mm.
It's like a whole other party. Underrated day.
I feel that.
That's where we are. That's where we are right now.
Welcome aboard, everybody that left for a couple weeks. I get it, but glad you guys are back too. And Dirk, I think I actually have a list of ways, of reasons, perhaps, that the Chiefs are back. You want to try this out?
Okay.
Okay. We no longer have a losing record.
Oh, back. We're back. Yeah.
Guess which was higher? Mahomes rushing yards or Mahomes touchdown passes?
Passing yards. Touchdowns.
Did I say passing? Yeah. He had.
You said it right. I was those first couple weeks. It was pretty close, probably.
Mahomes had 5 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. It felt great. Okay.
Back.
How about chunk plays?
Oh, chunks.
Team speed. Maybe the deep ball a little bit.
You can do that.
Yeah,
you can do that in
hey,
2025. You can throw the ball deep.
You can. Listen to these chunk plays, folks. 37, 35, 18, 17, 15, 13, 12, 12, 11. The Chiefs were chewing up the field a little bit on Sunday against the Ravens.
Deep ball's back.
Most points since been pimping 2022, I think is the actual answer. Most points for a long time.
You think? Didn't fact check that one. Just seems like,
for like a while.
Okay, definitely back.
Yeah.
Back.
Defensive football team?
I don't know if we're back. I mean, we could still be there, yeah.
Well, here, I've got some proof for you. We won the turnover battle for the second straight week, Dirk.
That is nice to see back.
Mm-hmm. They're back. Last thing that I think is actually going to help springboard us into your big thing.
You know I love a good springboard in my big thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. What sparked my curiosity here was just how well the Chiefs played against the Ravens. We used to do this thing a few years ago where the Chiefs defense was so good that we would look at how many points a team normally scored versus how much they scored when they played the Chiefs. Well, folks, the Chiefs have played 4 games this year. And what I did was take the team's average score of their first 4 games to figure out if the Chiefs allowed more or less than that against each of these 4 teams. And against the Chargers are scoring 22 points a game. They had 27 against the Chiefs, so we let them score 5 more than their average. Tough week 1
Not
for
back.
Spags and friends.
Not back.
Well, week 2 against Philly, Eagles are scoring about 27 a game through 4 weeks. That's -7. Okay. Touchdown less than they normally score. You get to the Giants scoring 18 a game through their first 4, and they only had 9 against the Chiefs. So 3 field goals less than they would normally kick. Not too many touchdowns in New York.
Well, and they couldn't kick field goals that game. So
Yeah. Well, and then
that could have taken years. It could have taken years for them to kick 3 field goals.
And then you have the Ravens on Sunday, who we knew coming in were scoring 37 points a game.
Oh, my.
Held them to 20. Honestly, it should have been 13, apart from a 70-something yard run when I wasn't even watching the game anymore. Missed that one. But
we shouldn't count it. Let's get that. Let's get out of here. 37-13.
But I can tell you, through 4 games, the Chiefs are holding their opponents to an average of a touchdown less than what they're scoring against everybody else. And that is just the beginning. We've got a lot of games to go. But boy, that Chiefs defense, Dirk, they looked excellent on Sunday. And it really seems like in a lot of ways, they might be kind of leading the charge to start the season, despite a really ugly week 1. They've just turned some things around, and suddenly we went from this team has no pass rush, and we're really worried about the defense to okay, we're back. Till we are back. Yeah, there you go. We're bad. Dirk's big thing.
Dirk's big thing. That's right. Step aside, Diggler. There's a new Dirk in town with an even bigger thing. So when I was really questioning this team in these early weeks, it was because I thought the defense might actually be bad. And I didn't know if the offense could be good enough to carry the team through that, to support them all season and carry them to the playoffs and to where we ultimately want to be, which is back in the Super Bowl. I know this offense is going to be at least above average and pretty good, even when it doesn't feel like it and it's looking sloppy out there. And I know the offense will be at its best come January. These are 2 things that I know based on the track record of the Chiefs and all the people on that side of the ball. I did not know how good the offense could be in the interim without Worthy and Rice. And if I'm being honest, I still don't know that for sure after Sunday because of the caveat. The Ravens might have been fielding an all-time bad defense, and that was before all the injuries out there. So I don't know if it's the offense you can say like they are back to what they once were because of all that. I think that's totally fair because we put that caveat on all of the Chiefs' bad offensive performances. So I think that's fair. But what I am coming around on and gaining more and more confidence every week is that this defense is going to be good again. And that was the biggest thing I learned on Sunday. I've got a stat I want to share with you that drives home my point. Ryan, what is my favorite stat in measuring offensive or defensive efficiency? It's points per drive. You mouthed that, but you are muted right now.
Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Allergy season. Points per drive. Yeah, I said it right.
Blew your nose out. Points per drive. That is the correct answer. Great nose blow. Success rate. Success rate told you for weeks and weeks that the Chiefs were the best rushing team in the NFL last year. Obviously, a waste of time. EPA, more like ever get laid. Nerd. DVOA, I'll tell you all about how the Bills and Ravens are historically great teams every single year. Points per game. Okay, Boomer, get out of here. Points per drive, the stat of the future. Ryan, what is a really good number in terms of points per drive?
3, right?
3. 3 is where the top offenses hang around all season.
Field goals.
You don't even see them hit that every single year. It's a really good number. So we're looking at the Ravens' offensive points per drive in their 4 games this year. That's what I want to break down. Versus Buffalo, 3.64 points per drive. Obviously tore them up. Versus Detroit, 3 points per drive, a solid 3. 2 teams that not really known for their defense, but without a doubt, 2 top 5 contenders in the NFL. How about maybe the best defense in the NFL? The Ravens put up 3.09 points per drive in that game. Now, a few funky short fields in there. So if we remove one of those touchdowns, I think it was a 5-yard drive, they're at 2.7 points per drive. If we remove both touchdowns that were short drives, it's still at 2.22 points per drive against maybe the best defense in the NFL in the Cleveland Browns. Against the Chiefs on Sunday, 13 points in 7 drives. That is 1.86 points per drive. A great number for the Chiefs to put up against one of the best offenses in the NFL. Didn't have really any injuries on that side of the ball. I think Stanley did get banged up at some point, but it's all those injuries that people are talking about. That's all on the defensive side of the ball for the Ravens. Offense was at full strength. Everybody was on the Ravens this week because of that offense, thought they were going to tear those Chiefs defense up. And so that's why I think the top story coming out of this game, my big thing, is that the Chiefs defense is putting week 1 further and further in the rearview mirror, legitimizing those week 1 and international game excuses and cementing themselves as a good defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that my top takeaway walking away from this game was that the defense just looked like themselves, I guess. And to say themselves is a little unfair because there's a lot of guys on this defense that we don't really know just yet. And whether that's Jaden Hicks stepping into a bigger role, Noel Williams being forced into a bigger role, Christian Fulton trying to find a role if he can, get out of the training room, I guess.
He might have got Wally pipped. He might have lost his job. Noel Williams is a monster out there.
Boy, he's been fantastic. But I don't know, man. Like last week, I told you that I thought Baltimore was like a mentally weak football team. And I don't know, man, when watching them Sunday, apart from that first drive, which looked pretty Ravens-esque, their offense just looked incapable of doing anything against Spags. And the fact that we were sitting there coming up to Lamar Jackson's injury late in the third quarter, I don't know if it was a new injury. It felt like an aggravation of something that he was maybe already dealing with a little bit. Regardless, I think that Derrick Henry had like 6 or 7 carries at that point in the game. And some of this has to do with when they're losing, they go to Justice Hill. Some of it has to do with the fact that they just weren't very effective at running the football. And I think that even on our show, kind of an underreported story that the Ravens running game wasn't all that good coming into this game. Does memory serve correct, Dirk, that you picked the Ravens to miss the playoffs this year?
I did because I didn't think Henry and Lamar could last the entire season health-wise. Yeah.
And it looks like, Lamar's going to miss some time. And frankly, the Ravens are built in such a way that you go to Cooper Rush or whatever from Lamar, like their season is over. They're already buried. And I think if Lamar misses 3-4 weeks, whatever it might be, they're just going to lose all those games. Their defense can't carry them with the way that their defense is injured and the way that they're playing. If you've got that kind of downgrade at QB, you better be facing, the Giants again so that you can run the ball 50 times and hope that works. But man, I think the Ravens might be in a bad way. And the Chiefs didn't necessarily break them. Spags breaks a lot of teams. He certainly knows, like Lamar has never really been repaired in terms of the Spags meter. But yeah, that was, the Chiefs almost did more than I ever would have expected defensively against that Ravens team. I was confident that they were going to find a way to win, but I didn't think it was going to be 13 points until a garbage time touchdown. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, and so on the Ravens, real quick, it's unconfirmed right now, but there are reports that he's going to miss a few weeks. So they have the Texans and Rams the next couple of weeks, which without Lamar, I mean, I don't know who they really will be favored against. I mean, he's driving their force a lot. I mean, obviously Henry's still there, but their defense is god awful. So it's gonna be tough to beat just about anybody. They dropped to 1-5. I mean, that's a tough spot. Obviously, you gotta have to go like 9-2 the rest of the season, kind of thing, to get in. That kind of makes the AFC playoffs kind of weird because they might be a 7 seed, the Steelers might be a 4 seed that everybody wants to play. Kind of throws a wrench in the AFC playoff plans. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, I have him down for. I mean, that dude was rattled out there after moving right down the field, scoring a touchdown with ease. It was like, okay, we might have like a shootout on our hands, kind of thing. Kind of what a lot of people expected, I think. After that, throws a bad pick, takes 2 delay of games in 2 plays, throws an obvious intentional grounding, throws the ball away on a 4th down, loses a fumble, takes a sack on a 3rd and 2 when this ended up being his last play. And kicks it back to a 4th and 5, and the Ravens idiotically kick a field goal to drop it to 14 when they know they can't stop us. It was just a bad decision, bad play to drop back. Like Lamar seems confused that like sacks actually lose yards. Like he's just taking sacks like they're nothing. So he did not look great. To be fair, he has looked a little banged up. I mean, he didn't look very explosive last week, and that kind of continued this week. And obviously with the hamstring, that's what's going on now. But yeah, he did not look great. The Ravens didn't show up. It was what we've seen from the Ravens in a lot of big games. And it was great to see that the Chiefs kind of exposed that in a big game when everybody was on the Ravens side.
I want to expose a few more talking points about this defense after our first break.
Looking to remodel your home and in search of a top quality company to do the job? Contact Elenco. Since 1986, Elenco has been the remodeler of choice for customers throughout Kansas and Missouri. As a family-owned and operated business, Elenco provides customers top-quality products and unbeatable service straight from their family to yours. From windows and doors to siding, insulation, and bathroom renovations, there's no need that Elenco can't meet and exceed. Elenco only installs products that have proven track records of success, such as the Kohler Luckstone shower system. Elenco's installers are factory-trained professionals who know how to get the job done, not only quickly, but flawlessly. Whether you're located in Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita, or a rural town in northeastern Kansas or western Missouri, Elenco will come to you. Go to elencohome.com for more information. That's ALENCO home.com. Again, elencohome.com for more information and contact them about all your home improvement needs.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
Hey, Dirk, did you notice that the final score on Sunday
37-13
was the inverted score that each team was averaging coming into the game? The Chiefs were scoring 20 points a game and scored 37, and Baltimore was scoring 37 points a game and ended with 20. I thought that was kind of fun. Little like inverted numerology, I guess.
All right, then it was 37-20, not 37-13. I guess
Yeah,
that's kind of sweet. All right, that's fine. Maybe we're going for that. Maybe we're like letting them score.
Right. We mentioned that the Chiefs won the turnover battle for the second straight game. I have no idea how long it's been since they did that. Probably 2019, 2020.
Let's just repeat the stat, because I had a lot of people reach out about that stat that kind of dropped at towards the end of the pod last week. But over the last 3 seasons, I'm going to short this to just the last 3 seasons, not even including this season. Over the last 3 seasons, the Chiefs are -8 in turnover differential when they went to 3 Super Bowls and won 2. It goes against all logic that you've ever heard watching football, that turnovers, you always see the charts, the winning percentage, the -1, the +1, all of that. It goes against all conventional wisdom when it comes to football, but that's where the Chiefs have been. They've had really good defenses some year, pretty good defense other years, but what they have not done any of those years really is force turnovers.
And if I remember correctly, don't the Chiefs have the 3 worst turnover differentials in the history of Super Bowl champions? All 3 of them.
Right.
1, 2, and 3. But you know what? The Chiefs forced 2 turnovers on Sunday and had 3 additional 4th down stops in that game, what essentially amounted to 5 turnovers. Look, that first one.
The biggest play of the game.
People have been telling me about how athletic Leo Chenal is since he was drafted. Most athletic linebacker in the history of the combine at the time he was drafted, according to the relative athletic scores done by our friend Math Bomb. It was like one of the most unexpected and yet like flawless. That's teaching tape. That's like what you should. All right. So you get into position and then you turn your head around and you try to make a play on the ball. He ends up, I think it's a one-handed interception. Was it not?
Yeah, basically. I mean, reeled it in kind of one hand, used other parts of his body, but yeah, initially one hand.
Everything about that play from Leo Chenal. I mean, it was just immaculate. Like, what an unbelievable interception. And that is kind of, I think, the play that woke me up. You said play of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at it, the Ravens drive down, score a touchdown, we come down and kick a field goal. Then they're driving down once again. It's 1st and 10 on the Chiefs 32. So I mean, they're going right back down the field again, and it's just like at that point you think like, man, are we going to be able to stop this team? Like they're just moving right down the field on us
and scoring 37 points a game. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the point where the tide turns. I mean, that's where the Ravens offense goes from dominating the game to, the next 2 quarters of not being able to do much.
I, at times, almost started to feel bad for Lamar. When I think of like one of those 4th down stops was just a pure throwaway. Like it's like he just didn't even know what to do. He couldn't go anywhere with the ball, so he just gave up on the play. That is like the fact that you are participating in that play is supposed to be a statement that we're not giving up. Punting is giving up, right? But you chose not to punt. You are going for it. And in going for it, you gave it up. Like it totally defeats the purpose of going for it on 4th down. Look, he's an opponent. Don't give a shit at the end of the day that he played poorly or that he might be dealing with injuries or frustration or whatever. But Spags had that man in hell. I mean, truly, it's like he couldn't function. It was kind of hard to watch at times for a team that is like inarguably one of the Chiefs' top 2 like Super Bowl contenders in the AFC. That. I mean, we come into the season and it's the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens, and like that is it and that is all. And the Ravens, I mean, they have the Spags to be able to do that against inarguably one of the best teams coming into the season. That's why he's a Hall of Famer, man. to just shut a guy like Lamar down like that time and time again. Isn't Lamar 1-6 against Spags? Is that the number I heard?
Well, 1-6 against the Chiefs, which I assume would be all Spags.
Mostly Spags, if maybe
the first game Sutton.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is nothing new. So I mean, we should have been expecting it. You just kind of buy into the hype and see what he does against everybody else and kind of expect him to be better in some of these games. But yeah, I mean, the AFC Championship game, that's 17-10. So obviously not putting up points in that one. I feel like week 1 last year, I was trying to pull it up here real quick, but couldn't do it. Week 1 last year, I mean, we had a comfortable 2-touchdown lead before, we kind of got conservative on offense, and they kind of go down and score a touchdown and then drive down again to almost tie it and maybe go for the win. But yeah, so they're sitting they scored a touchdown. I guess they made it 17-20 early in the fourth quarter. So, but only 17, call it 20 points later on that game. That's well below their average too. I mean, Spags just has the secrets to do well against Lamar that obviously not other people do. There's some talk that like the more you see Lamar, like the more you get used to it, which is why he has such a good record against like the NFC over his career. I think he's only lost 2, maybe 3 games now because they just lost to Detroit. But like when he plays the NFC, he had like a 22-2 record at some point before that Lions game. So, but the defenses that see him over and over, like Pittsburgh always kind of does well against them. Cleveland kind of does good against him too. It's like kind of like the more you see him, like the more you get a feel for him and what he can do. And really, I think the thing the Chiefs aren't afraid to do that maybe other teams are is just blitz him. And they just bring the house, and he doesn't always handle that well. And I think a lot of other teams are afraid to do it because of all the explosive players they have around him and him being explosive himself. Like, yes, you're opening yourselves up to big plays, but you can't be afraid when you're going against Lamar. Just start teeing off. And Spags was definitely doing that on Sunday.
Let me put this another way. The Chiefs beat one of their presumed top 2 competitors in the conference by 3 scores on Sunday. What story are you telling yourself walking away from the game? Like, are they that good? I mean, I know we said they're back or we're back, the royal we. But like, everybody's doing this. Is it more about the Ravens or is it more about the Chiefs? And I don't think that that's what I'm asking. But I do wonder how back are they in your mind? Like, are you at the point now where I don't know if there would be normally nerves going into Monday night, but like when the Chiefs see the Lions in a couple weeks, when the Chiefs see the Bills in a few weeks, are you going to be like, we're the Chiefs, we're going to fucking win? Are they back to that place in your mind?
We kind of talked about the Chiefs having to tread water while the receivers are out until they can get back to what they can hopefully do on offense, which we saw a lot of it, what they can do just with Xavier Worthy back. Yeah. But I think they've kind of done that by winning these 2 games because you're kind of looking at the schedule. You're afraid of that Ravens game. You're afraid of, the Jag game, not easy. They're 3-1 team. They could be 4-0. Lions game, obviously not easy. It's a tough opening 10, 11 games of the schedule. Even the first game that was supposed to be easy is the Colts, and they're looking pretty tough. So yeah, it's a really front-loaded schedule when the Chiefs maybe aren't at their best. So they got to survive that. Now, I'm looking at them like they are on the path of surviving that, I guess I'd say. Like, if they were to drop to the Jags, then yeah, I'd be nervous again for that Lions game because winning the AFC West is going to be super important. As long as they can get to that 2 seed, I'm almost like conceding that 1 seed to the Bills just because they have such an easier schedule than us and they're just rolling right now, whereas the Chiefs are going to have to grind it more. So I guess if they beat the Bills, we can get back into that conversation. But like, I'll be happy going into the AFC playoffs with the 2 seed and facing another showdown with the Bills in the AFC Championship. Like, I will be happy with that. I will be confident going into that game, and I think we're back on track towards getting to that. Like again, it's the defense that scared me. Like, if the defense wasn't good and we have these receivers out, then it could be like a long opening stanza to the season. But now, once I've got confidence back in this defense, like I think the Chiefs are back to where they need to be in that position to play those big games in the AFC, divisional round and championship.
I like the image that I have in my head is literally of like scales leveling out. They went from 0-2 to 2-2, and now I just kind of feel like all is right in the world, and maybe not all, but like the Chiefs can play close games, and I'm gonna be confident, right? And they lose a couple close ones, the first one. And I think a lot of people just started to kind of show, well, we're going to get that regression. They won so many 1-score games in a row that now they're going to go back to the mean here. And I think the Chiefs put a stopper in a lot of that. I'm sure that there are going to be people that are like, all right, hey, let's wait and see. Right? We're starting to see some normal Chiefs football as opposed to what the last 3 games had looked like. But I think that when I'm trying to imagine, like, all right, so what's the next step, in the evolution of this team? It's really all about this offense, is it not? Like it's all about what they look like when Rashee ends up getting added into the mix. You use that phrase, treading water. And I do think to a certain extent, that's probably what they're doing, is like, let's just see what it looks like when Rashee is out there. But I really do think that where they're at through 4 games is like, they're actually on pretty solid footing. And I don't know how many people would have said that after 2 games. And I don't know how many people would have said that after 3. But even in this game against the Baltimore team that was knocked pretty silly defensively, with all the injuries and stuff, it's hard not to feel a lot more confident about where the team is, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about, like, one thing I was thinking about, like, left tackle is like the biggest question for the Chiefs going into the season. And through 4 weeks, how many times have we even talked about the left tackle? Like, we're not even bringing up Josh Simmons because he basically just has that side locked down right now. Like Sunday was, I know the Ravens pass rush is not good. I think it's not good if they have all their guys. And so without those guys, it's basically nothing. But that was the cleanest pocket we've seen from Mahomes in years. Like he was just sitting back there, can pick whatever he wants. So yeah, I think the offense will be back. And I think Xavier Worthy, I think we kind of saw his importance. He looks really comfortable and natural out there. I kind of had a feeling like the whatever he's wearing, like the padding he's wearing to protect his shoulder, it made him look like a more legit receiver because he's so slight of frame that it kind of added some like bulk to his upper body, and he looked like a legit NFL receiver. I was like, I think maybe you should always wear that. Kind of just have like some bubble wrap going on underneath, so he just looks a little buffer. But I felt more comfortable. He looked like a legit number 1 receiver out there. So I was excited to see that. But keeping him healthy now becomes absolutely paramount because I think we've seen how important he is to the team, and so being able to keep him healthy and doing everything we can to do that is absolutely important. And once Rashee comes back too, but like we kind of have weapons all over the field now. Like Juju's kind of doing his thing out there every time. He's doing all the dirty work. He's old, reliable. He's always open out there. Mahomes clearly trusts him. Tyquan still gets involved. He only had 1 catch, but another touchdown for him. Marquise Brown looking good. Like all of a sudden we have weapons all over the field. The offensive line is coming together. Basically the running game is the last piece of the pie here that we need to get going. It started to look a little better in that second half as they're doing more and more under center. And so I think we just need to, if we can get that running game going, then the offense should have everything they need. I don't think they'll ever look like they once did. I don't think we're ever going to see like the 2018 to 2020 Chiefs again. Like I don't think having Travis Kelce at the peak of his powers, having Tyreek at the peak of his powers, offenses or defenses before the rise of this too high. So there's more open field downfield. It seems like it's just we're never going to see that style of offense again. But I do think we can see this Chiefs team get back to being as efficient as they have been, which has led them to, a couple Super Bowls since then. So yeah, everything's looking good with the offense. Getting more and more confident.
I've had a thought, Dirk, about our guy Tyqueek.
I came up with it. Now I keep forgetting. To go.
So Tyquan Thornton currently leads the league in deep targets.
Oh.
And if I remember correctly, the pace that he was at entering the Baltimore game was that he was going to see something like 60 deep passes this year. Which is a huge, huge number. If he's going to be consistently getting behind defenses, if this is going to be our deep ball merchant, I feel like we've got to find him some sort of hand signal that's not the peace sign, but like what is his version of the peace sign?
Hang on, trying them out. Oh, huh? All right.
All right. He did. I don't know if you saw when he scored, he did this dance. The dance that he did, he went like this.
Oh, that's a thing. Stinky.
And the kids at my school,
6s and 7s,
flipping the dollar, I think is what that is called.
Ah, yes.
You know, and there, there's some other TikToky-ness to it all. I'm telling you, I was like deep in these teenage investigative streets. Guys, where did this come from? Is it associated with a specific song? Like, what do I need to know? Because I'm trying to understand what my guys are doing out here.
There's like one thing every year where receivers are all kind of doing the same thing, and they all kind of gravitate towards it. So I assume it's Juju telling them all this. TikTok boy showing them the latest trend. Like, you guys see this? You see what's trending? Well, I was actually at my nephew's soccer game, so he's 10 years old, and their team name was 6s and 7s, and so all the adults are on the sideline trying to figure out what 6s and 7s are, and we're like Googling it, like, what the hell is 6s and 7s? What the hell is this supposed to mean? But it's just some trend, and it means like nothing. It's like something you say at an awkward pause.
There's two different reasons that I've heard for why they keep saying 6, 7. I think the actual reason is in some rap song, someone's talking about Lonzo Ball and says he's 6'7".
Yeah, which is his height. That's actually his height.
Yeah, so nothing. Yeah, as you said. I also had a kid try to tell me, and this is where the amateur hour really starts to enter the conversation. I had a kid tell me the other day, Mr. Hall, 6'9" is like a thing, right?
Boy, do I.
But he goes, 6'9" is like a thing, like a joke? I said, sure. And he's like, well, why is 6 afraid of 7? I said, because 7, 8, 9? He's like, so that's why 6, 7 instead of 6, 9. And I'm like, you're not even making sense. Get out of here. I don't even know. Get out of here.
Dang. I thought he was about to have something really, really
Oh no, I think he was just trying to show me you're old and I can tell you anything and you'll be like, oh, definitely. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. But he didn't fool me. Okay.
Can't get by you.
You can't get 69 past me. All right. I know my way around a 69. Anyway, let's take another break. And on the other side, I want to talk to you more about Xavier Worthy.
What's up, guys? I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network, and I'm here to talk to Kansas City businesses. If you rely on technology, you need an IT support team that's not just another vendor, but a true IT partner. That's how I want to introduce you to my friend and neighbor, KJ Miller. He is a VCIO at ThrottleNet, the Midwest's highest rated and most reviewed IT support company. They've been in business for more than 25 years, helping companies stay secure, productive, and ahead of the curve. They aren't just IT support, but they provide data security, IT strategy, and cloud software services. They do it all, and their reviews show they do it better than anyone else. So if you want to hear about how ThrottleNet can help your local business, join the conversation with myself, KJ Miller from ThrottleNet, and our resident genius from KC Sports Network when it comes to IT, at least as he's affectionately known by us, Mr. Craig Stout. Click the link in the description to hear how ThrottleNet can help you.
Chiefs Kingdom, I have got a question for you. What is your favorite touchdown? Well, for me, I can confidently say that my favorite touchdown, it's the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From the first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. From spreads to money lines, same-game parlays, regular parlays, you want it, DraftKings has got it. Here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I use DraftKings Sportsbook, and you should too. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
We are, in fact, going to talk about Xavier Worthy, but first, I need to call all the Chiefs fans in the room. Listen, guys, you could be on the field at the 50 inside of GEHA for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. All you got to do is visit chiefs.com/GEHA right now. You get to enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at chiefs.com/GEHA. And remember, GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Dirk, Xavier Worthy led the Chiefs in both rushing and receiving on Sunday. I'm not sure if you caught that. He had a 35-yard run and a 37-yard catch. And this in his first game back after I had really all but written him off until next year. This guy was so instantly impactful for this offense. And look, maybe we're trying to figure out the difference in contributions here between Xavier Worthy's speed and presence on the field and the fact that they were playing one of the worst defenses ever. But here's where my mind went after the game and the thing I can't stop thinking about. From our guy, collectively all of Chiefs Kingdom's guy, I believe, Kevo Bevo on Twitter. Worthy opened up this offense something stupid. That man is league MVP, LMAO.
Actually, I had that in my notes that he should get NFL MVP votes.
I'm telling you, man. Like it is funny. It's amateur hour, right? I mean, it's Kevo. It's not amateur hour, but look, it's really hard to argue against this point, albeit a flippant one, that this offense looked completely different just by having him on the field. Did you think that Xavier Worthy was going to catch more than like 2 or 3 balls on Sunday? Like, let's just test him out. He's probably on a pitch count. I know that he was, full practice and whatever, but I'm still just like, whether it's the pads that make him look like a real football player, whether it's the restricted, range of motion, whether it's a Ravens defense that, for all their warts are still like a hard hitting defense. I just kind of thought, I mean, don't get me wrong, he protected himself. He looked like the best player on either team. I mean, he was unreal on Sunday. And it was like they took the game plan from week 1 where he got hurt on the 3rd play of the game and said, all right, Xavier, we're going to try this again in week 4. And they were able to execute it to perfection. The Ravens just didn't put a stopper in anything the Chiefs wanted to do. But it really seemed like the thing that unlocked everything for the Chiefs was simply having Xavier Worthy. And I know that he's not as good or as important as Rashee Rice. And so my mind starts to go okay, this might be really good. Like there is a world where this Chiefs offense is 2018, 2019-esque. And those are 2 very different years because Patrick got hurt in 2019. But in general, the early stages of Patrick and the Chiefs where they were really, really difficult to guard, or if you want to, take it further and go the year after they trade Tyreek and they are the number 1 offense in the NFL and largely unguardable because of all the new pieces and how they could just attack you anywhere on the field. This is a pretty diverse group of skill sets. But man, just to pull it back to Xavier Worthy, he really exceeded every single expectation that I had for him, maybe for the entire season, in the first game that he played coming back from that injury.
Yeah, and you're just saying because you gave up on him for the season because of the injury and like the high chance of re-injury, which is still on the table. I don't know if that remains throughout the whole season or if that's just like a next 5 weeks kind of thing. But I would continue being very careful with him. A few stats on that. Mahomes, over his last 54 games, including playoffs, had 4 passing touchdowns he only had 4 passing touchdowns one other time in his last 54 games. He had 4 passing touchdowns this game. So that goes all the way back to early 2022, which is insane because think about like the passing touchdown chart. Like Mahomes still leads it at every single career game. Scott Kazmir kind of puts that out he's still like 6 games ahead of Rodgers on the all-time touchdown pace, which is insane because it's really dropped off. Mahomes up to 5 deep completions for 206 yards this season. That is over half of his total from just last season when he finished with 359. So he could be passing that in a few weeks here. And one other stat that I was kind of looking up because I was like, man, Xavier Worthy has kind of won a lot of games and it's a different offense with him. The Chiefs are now 18-2 in games with a healthy Xavier Worthy out there. But yeah, just speaking about him, he looked comfortable. I didn't really have like expectations going into it necessarily. But he did look great. Like I thought they'd throw him a few deep balls. The ultimate concern for me was keeping him healthy, which they did, but he looked great. And this is kind of be expected. I mean, a first year or a second year receiver, a first round pick, like you'd expect to see a leap, even though last year it almost kind of felt like, I don't want to say like gadgety because that becomes such like an insult, but like he never felt like a true like receiver necessarily. Whereas you'd think he'd start to develop that and start to become like that, a traditional receiver. Like think of like early Tyreek, because like early Tyreek Hill, you'd see him do things, but it was all just kind of like, it's because he's so fast. Like, I don't think he's like an actual receiver yet. And it just kind of had to like grow into that. And eventually becomes the best receiver in the NFL. I'm not saying Worthy's going to do that, but he should continue to grow over these next few years and pick up more of the traits of like a traditional receiver. And I'm extremely excited for the long-term potential of Xavier Worthy. He is blowing away what I thought he might be, when we drafted him, kind of thing. Like last year was kind of, maybe on the high end of what I expected. And if we continue to see him like he did on Sunday and the way that they want to feature him because they know what his speed can do, it opens up everything else. Think of how easy everything looked on Sunday compared to what we've seen over the last 2 years and 4 games. Like for the first time in a long time, like things felt easy. And I think that's what Chiefs fans have been aching to see. Like it's the offense hasn't been like bad, like not as bad as everybody thinks, but nothing's been easy. It's been just hard, a slog every single game, it feels like. And so for once, it was nice to watch the offense and have it feel like it was easy out there.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do think that we even had some evidence on Sunday of his development over the offseason. I'm sure that you caught the move that he put on Chidobe Awuzie. And then eventually, I don't know who that safety was that was flying in or potentially another defensive player, but they come flying in to try to smack him on the sideline and he backs up and makes that guy miss too. His field awareness was lacking a little bit last year.
I forgot about that.
And so like seeing him be able to use the sideline as his friend was a positive step forward for me. But the thing that I felt like the Chiefs weren't able to figure out in year one with him, that he was really dynamic with Texas in college, is his route running. And particularly like early in the route, his ability to gain separation, where he became an incredible red zone threat for Texas. That's the kind of stuff that like I'm starting to see the footwork and the speed and the execution all kind of line up together a little bit. Whereas, he maybe came in with foot speed, right? But he didn't know the offense or he didn't know the timing or the depth or whatnot. And all of that stuff is only going to get better with time. But I think that we saw in his first full game this season, despite some concerns and some apprehension, whether it's from us or from him about trusting the shoulder and still kind of protecting himself, going down a little early, trying to make sure he's getting out of bounds, things that frankly he should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
But like,
they call it the Tyler Lockett, I think it is. Just never
right.
get it.
Just preserve your body, but like Worthy's a dog, man. People kind of overlook the fact that like he wants to be known as a tough and physical player despite his stature instead of just being you're a small, fast guy.
Also, to his credit, when I was looking up that Xavier Worthy like career record stat, he didn't miss any games. Like we're kind of putting all this on him because he's so skinny. He's so small, but like, we haven't really seen much evidence that like he gets hurt other than getting completely rocked by Travis Kelce.
Right.
So, I mean, you can kind of chalk that up to the weight, I guess, but like, that's not like a natural thing that's going to happen over and over. To his credit,
if you saw it like naturally, I mean, I know that we realize it. We probably don't want to rewind and watch it a bunch of times, but like he literally got decleated. He was blindsided. Like that is a penalty if it happens on special teams or something now. Like it was the type of hit that he was quite literally blindsided by.
And so, the type of hit that they've taken out from the defense. Like I don't know if a defender could hit him like that. Like they should have flagged Kelce for targeting.
Yeah, right. Look, we've spent a lot of time on the passing game, but the Chiefs ran the ball a little bit better on Sunday, maybe because it's the Ravens. But let's talk some Pacheco here. Best game of the season by far.
Yeah, so a couple things. They kind of got Brashard Smith involved, which they kind of been doing early in games, which I like. I really like that they're, making an effort to get him involved. They clearly want to because he's been in those scripted plays early on. And then they kind of had a little thing in week 3 where they were doing the jet sweeps with him too, and it was kind of opening running room up for Pacheco. So that's one thing to watch. But Pacheco, you can kind of tell he was just in his head because of all the mistakes he's been making. And so you could kind of tell early in that game, he's just feeling it, and I feel like he's pressing, and he has that drop. So I feel like we need to do like a Pacheco Mojo watch every week because this guy is as emotional a player as there is on this team, but he needs his mojo. Otherwise, he's not going to be an effective player. So we're going to start some Pacheco Mojo watch. Mojo, the libido, the life force, the essence, the right stuff, what the French call a certain, I don't know what. But I think you're starting to see a little bit of that mojo return for Pacheco, which I think this team needs because they still need to find a running game. And I still think he's probably the best option on the team. I think everybody's hoping to kind of make a move for that later on at some point. But for now, I think he is still our best option. And we're still really hoping to see like that 2023 Pacheco. Like I saw some highlights of his from back when bouncing around, and he does look like a different type of player. And we just need to get him back to like that maniac type feeling that he ran with. Remember when he just running against the ground so hard? Like that was kind of like everybody thought about that when they saw Pacheco run. It feels like we haven't seen that since the injury. So we need to get his mojo back. Muted. You muted, boy.
I've done it again. Usually I'm like pretty smooth on the mutes, but man, I'm 0 for 2 today. Look, something that I find really interesting about Pacheco, it's perhaps me being desensitized to it, and so I'm just not noticing it anymore. Almost like when you have been writing an essay for a month and you just start overlooking errors because you're too close to it. So like, I don't know if I've become desensitized, but one of the hallmarks of Isaiah Pacheco that honestly I think really got under opponents' skin was that he like refused to be on the ground when he got tackled. Immediately popping up, get off of me, get back to the huddle. Part of that maniac kind of essence that he brought to the field. And they have talked since they drafted him about like when he is playing well, when Pacheco is kind of leading the charge for us, that he's almost like their spirit animal, if you will, that he becomes this like emotional, barometer, lightning rod for that offense. Is he popping up like that now? I feel like he's just kind of, I'm a veteran now, I guess. And so can somebody help me up? Like, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Maybe I'm not noticing it, But that dude used to like aggressively pop up off the ground to try to show you, you did not hurt me. I am not tired. Get out of my fucking face. Give me the ball again. I cannot wait to run down your throat. And that doesn't seem like the Isaiah Pacheco that we have right now. And maybe he's just a little muted or whatnot, or he doesn't have his mojo. But like, I think you're right, man. They're missing a spark from him. And we gotta figure out what that is, what he's missing.
And they need that because everything on the offense is so methodical. Like Andy calling West Coast offense plays. We're just kind of moving down the field partly at a time. Like hopefully this speed and everything that we're used to from the Chiefs, from the old Chiefs returns. But like at this point, it's just like a slow and methodical offense. Like it needs the attitude from Pacheco like that. I want to highlight just some other random players here kind of bouncing around, just some stats I got or notes. Kingsley Suamatia. I'm going to try and start with his name. Nailed it. After allowing a team-high 8 pressures in weeks 1 through 2, Kingsley has allowed just 1 pressure over his last 2 games. Ooh. I think that is a big development. We got to keep in mind this guy has not played a lot of career games, and then he's moving to a new position. Like, he did not look good in the first couple weeks, but, like, just relax. Give him time to figure it out. And he's kind of clearly the weak point on the line, I guess you would say. So if he can figure it out, like we should be rounding this offensive line into form. I said earlier, it's the cleanest pocket we've seen from Mahomes in years. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with the Ravens pass rush, but Kingsley showing those flashes is a great sign that he's kind of figuring things out.
I'm not sure if you noticed, this is maybe like a little off topic, but I did see Orlovsky said that 20% of the Chiefs plays on Sunday were either 6 offensive linemen or under center. And so they were doing a lot of tendency breaking type of stuff. He said it was his favorite Chiefs offensive game plan in 3 years. Now, who is Dan Orlovsky in the grand scheme of things? But at the same time, like I appreciate the fact that somebody's built their brand on watching the tape. And the Chiefs are one of the most prominent teams in the NFL. So you have been watching the Chiefs, that he's seeing those changes. And I don't know, I don't know if some of the under center type of stuff is what goes into Kingsley having these better scores, or ultimately some of those changes, some of those tendency breakers is that's giving Mahomes the extra beat that he needs. I also did see, and maybe this is kind of like so many of these things are all tied up together. But did you see that Mahomes, I think, is getting rid of the ball faster than he has in like 3 years? He's got one of the fastest times to throw in the league to start this season.
Yeah, I mean, in the first couple of games, he was, he came out of that Chargers game, was throwing it incredibly fast for whatever reason. Against the Giants.
A big part of what they're trying to do.
Against the Giants, obviously, going to do that because the pass rush is their biggest weapon.
Yeah.
One thing we got to talk about here while we're on Mahomes. This kind of came in at the end of the broadcast on Sunday. I don't know how many people were still listening. Mahomes told Nance and Romo that he wants to play into his 40s. And they just kind of slipped that in as like the handshakes were happening. And I was like, huh?
You mean like at the end of the game?
Yeah, like as they're all coming onto the field, shaking hands, and they're talking about Mahomes, just I don't know, shooting the shit. I don't know what they're saying, but Romo just casually slips it in there, and Mahomes mentioned to us that he wants to play into his 40s, and I was, oh, that's nice to hear. Like you hope that that's the feeling. He's kind of chasing Brady, who's clearly played into his 40s, but you don't know. Maybe he has so much early success. Maybe sometimes that burns the player out. And it still hasn't happened or anything, but Mahomes wants to play into his 40s was by far, of all the great things we saw on Sunday, that was by far the most important thing for Chiefs fans to hear.
Was this before or after? God, I don't want to say the wrong name, but the sideline reporter after the game on the field said, "Hey, Patrick, congrats. You're the fastest quarterback to 250 touchdown passes. You did it in, 5 fewer games than Rodgers or whatever." And he said, "Yeah, let's see if we can get to 500 or something."
Yeah, he did say. I think it would have been before.
So
maybe it might have been like the lead into that. Like, let's go down to Mahomes, and they're kind of like talking about Mahomes.
But what a coincidence, right? Like if they say it and then they go to Mahomes and Mahomes is like, oh yeah, I can't wait to double this statistic that's taken me my entire career.
They mentioned like that he turned 30. That was kind of the lead in, and that he wants to play into his 40s. And it was just
week or two ago, I think, recently birthday.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's 3 days before mine, I think.
Can you believe that I somehow, some way did not in my sports nuts last week talking about the haircut, lean into Patrick Mahomes getting a haircut this offseason too? I had a couple people be like, you weren't inspired by Mahomes' haircut. You didn't try to be one. You were talking about being one with the team and knowing what they need. And you didn't make that connection.
Your haircut looks too much like Travis Kelce. I couldn't make the Mahomes connection.
Right.
A few other things I want to highlight here before we get to this week's Sports Nuts. Lamar Jackson pressured on 48% of his dropbacks, the highest rate he's faced in a game since week 4, 2023. George Karlaftis, quietly, tied for third in the NFL in pressures right now.
Hell yeah, Jorge.
Behind Micah Parsons and Nick Bonito, ahead of Myles Garrett. I feel like George caught a lot of slack the first couple weeks. And the pass rush hasn't been great. So, I mean, I get it. He's kind of the next guy. If you think Chris Jones is playing well, the next guy you're going to look at is probably George. And a lot of those pressures probably weren't immediate. A lot of it's kind of credit to like his motor, like late pressures. But in this game, he had a lot of quick pressures. And I just saw a quote from Brandon Thorne, who's kind of an offensive line specialist, but definitely not one to mess around. I mean, he's just kind of, here's the facts. He called it the best game of his career as a rusher. Statistically speaking, because of the number of quick pressures that he had in that game. So I think George deserves a credit, a shout out, after catching some flack, whether it was due or unjust after the first couple of games, that he had a really good game on Sunday and he's had a pretty good season.
I'm proud of you for correcting yourself, because the first thing that you said that George was catching was some slack. I said, no one was cutting him some slack at all. Everyone was really mad at George. In fact,
what was I looking for there? Catching some flack.
Yeah.
Flack.
Which you got the second time.
Joe Slacko, not Joe Flacco. Joe Slacko. I'll work on it, man. Words rhyme. It's so confusing. Why do they make words that rhyme? Just make everything a different sound. It'd be way easier for me out there. If I knew words just did rhyme. I'd have a much easier time doing these podcasts. I'll tell you what.
I don't know if you noticed, as part of all of Georgia's pressures, the Chiefs are now up to 10 sacks through 4 games, which is just outside of that coveted top 10. The Chiefs are currently tied for 12th in the NFL with 10 sacks. The league leaders, once again, the Denver Broncos, they currently sit at 15 sacks through 4 weeks.
Bonito's a monster. Who is this Jonathan Cooper guy? That guy is living in opponents' backfields. Every time I watch Denver, he is timing that snap, and he is in the backfield, not even getting touched. I mean, he's just flying around tackles.
I know so little about him. I was thinking of Jonathan Cooper, the offensive guard from North Carolina that flamed out in the.
That's him, isn't it? Isn't that him?
Yeah, he trimmed down, and now he's an amazing pass rusher.
He's back.
Former first-round pick.
A Veach special, taking a first-round bust.
God, how did we miss that one?
I don't know where that guy came from, but those two at Georgia on Denver are monsters. I don't know how their defense could not be good with all the pieces they have around there. So I got one more guy that I want to highlight here, I think.
Is it Butker?
No.
Dumb, missed again.
Yeah, he did miss again. I'm calling it a rut.
It's probably fine. I said on Sunday, mostly just because I knew that people were going to like it. Right? Like, I'm gonna lean into the crowd.
Likes merchant.
But I said Tobe should bring in, work out a kicker on Monday, apply some pressure. And I think it's true, man. I mean, Butker has shown that in those pressure moments, in those pressure situations, that's when he performs at his best. So light a fire under his ass. Harrison, you have missed 5 kicks in 4 games, man. It's too many. You've gone entire seasons without missing 5 kicks, and you've done it in the first quarter of this one. Clean it up. Okay. Harry?
I did think they were lining up for that 50-yard field goal, and they said Butker's looking for his fourth 50-plus yard field goal of the season. I was like, man, dude's having a terrible season and about to kick his fourth 50-yarder in 4 games. Like, it might be nice to stop giving him like 56-plus yarders. Like, that might be, help him out a bit.
Did you hear Simmons asked Sal how long a field goal would have to be to impress you? And they were like, I think it's got to be a 7 as the first number now. Like if it's 70 or higher, that moves the needle for me. But like 69 would make me chuckle.
Oh yeah.
But
6'7",
even that one, I don't think would do it for me. I would just be like, doggone it.
Because you're not a youth. You're not a youth. You wouldn't get it.
Did Aubrey?
I thought you said you got 6'7". You clearly do not get it.
I know. Aubrey kicked the outdoor record on Sunday. 65 now is the outdoor record.
It wasn't Aubrey. It was
McLaughlin.
Yeah, which was I think it's the third or tied for the second longest kick ever. I was just looking it up. But yeah, and it didn't even move the needle. It's just 60-yarders are. I was looking at the top field goals, and they're all like the last 2 seasons. I feel like this K-ball clearly has some kind of juice going on.
Oh, they said that it's just you get to do it. They give you all the balls at the beginning of the year and just be like, have fun.
You get to mash them all season.
So they're just beating them up and waterlogging them and everything that they can. We're going to have another Deflategate. And you know who's going to do it? Butker.
Justin Tucker.
Oh, God.
They should pin it on Tucker. He's already going down. Like just throw it on his grave.
Pile a few more on top of him.
All right, last guy I'm going to highlight here before we get to Sports Nuts. Nick Bolton generated a career high 5 pressures on 10 pass rushes in the Chiefs' victory over the Ravens. He was unblocked on all 5 of his pressures, tied for the second most unblocked pressures in a game since 2018. That's in a game, tied for the second most unblocked pressures. Obviously, this is sort of a Spags stat. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. But also, Bolton deserves credit for this because his ability to blitz is severely underrated. Like his timeliness on blitz, it's very important. Like the Chiefs are the far and away the number 1 team in terms of calling cover 0, just bringing the house. And if you fail to get in there because of poor timing or double rushing a gap or whatever it means, whatever it would be, that opens up your defense in a huge way. I mean, if you fail on a cover 0 blitz, you're asking for like a 40-yard play to happen against you just because you're so exposed back there. So I think his timeliness on blitzes is incredibly undervalued, and I think it deserves a shout. He was living in the backfield. He was chasing Lamar Jackson straight backwards on multiple plays. On many of his mistakes, it's because Bolton's just running a straight line right up that A-gap, right in his face. So he deserves credit. Spags deserves credit, obviously, but just want to highlight that.
Honestly, it just feels like evidence of how smart he is. They constantly talk about the coach on the field sort of thing. Yep. And whether it's the right timing or the right disguise or whatever it is, being unblocked as a middle linebacker is a skill. Exactly. And so I think that I'm very grateful that the last couple of weeks have been Nick Bolton games.
He's looked great.
Because people want to isolate the things that he does poorly. And when we get to watch him play the way that he can play in the right style of game, it's undeniable. Like, this dude is one of the best at his job. There are moments where he looks awful, but no one is good at everything. Patrick Mahomes can't throw the ball deep very well, folks. Okay. So the Patrick Mahomes of the defense, not always great in coverage, but man, when you get to see him coming downhill like this and he's playing against the run or he's blitzing and he's trying to get everybody in the right spots, he's invaluable to what that defense does. And so it was great to be able to see anytime that the Chiefs get to line up for one of those, like the other team is going to try to run the ball at us. Like, this is Nick Bolton week. I mean, it gets my like 90s football juices flowing because I know they're all going to be playing in a phone booth. Bolton's going to be coming downhill. We're going to get some big pop into the pads. That dude's just got it. He's got it. Big Bolton fan. Big Bolton.
Big bad Bolton.
Right. Okay.
Let's do Sports Nuts.
Hell yeah. Sports Nuts.
Oh boy. What a sports nut, huh?
Sports Nuts, where we explain why life doesn't matter, but sports do. Ryan, take it away first this week.
All right, so my Sports Nuts this week. If you guys have spent time with this program at all, you know that like one of my primary neuroses about sports is that historically I'm very anti the opponent's colors the week of a game.
Yeah,
I avoid them like the plague. And sometimes it gets really challenging if we're playing, I don't know, let's say the Browns once every 3 or 4 years, because, gotta wear khakis to work. Now I can't wear any brown.
Those tan Browns.
Right. But look, I've kind of been testing the waters a little bit. Last year in our march to a losing effort in a Super Bowl, but many times along the way, it was almost like I felt invincible. No matter what I wear or what I do or don't do, the Chiefs can't lose. And so, I would say, you know what? We're playing the Raiders this week. I'm wearing black every damn day. I don't care. I'm not scared of the Raiders. We're the Chiefs. I'll be all right. Well, I got to tell you guys, I inadvertently wore purple on Saturday. Not a very, unless you're a K-State fan, not a color that people just kind of naturally wear.
Big K-State and Ravens guy over there.
So I just happened to put on this purple T-shirt on Saturday, and it's almost like t-shirt? Say what?
Was it your Prince T-shirt?
Oh no, my favorite purple T-shirt. I do have a Patrick Mahomes as Prince T-shirt that gets a lot of compliments. Every kingdom has its prince. People love that one. But I was just wearing like a solid purple T-shirt, $8 little Target job or whatever. And I got to tell you, it's almost like the football god showed me mercy, because genuinely, I didn't give it a thought at all. I was sitting there last night thinking, man, what's my Sports Nuts? What's it going to be? And I said, I wore purple last week. I wore purple the day before the game. Maybe it's all the championships. I don't know. I think it's funny that we're starting to do Sports Nuts in my era where I'm a lot less nutty than I used to be.
Yeah, Sports Nuts 10 years ago for us. Really 20 years ago. Oh, boy.
Talk about move the needle, right?
And that's when I threw the dog across the room. No, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that.
Of course not.
But it didn't make you think that your whole fan life had been a fraud, that you were doing that for no reason?
See, that's the part that I didn't want to get to because I don't want to move into an existential crisis and maybe nothing that I do matters.
Why was I doing this for so many years?
Yeah, right. It's actually very freeing to know that I have no impact on sports games whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't
work all the teal and gold combinations that you have this week.
I actually have a pair of swooshy basketball shorts that are the exact Jags teal. I sleep in them quite a bit, and I told myself,
sleep in pants?
No, like basketball shorts.
Oh, shorts. Okay.
Yeah, and I told myself
sleep
I'm not gonna
with clothes on.
Yeah. I told myself I wasn't going to wear them this week. I said, it's too jaggy.
I got a Brunel jersey if you want to slap that bad boy on.
There we go. What's your Sports Nuts?
All right, sports this week. So I was kind of meeting one of the new neighbors, just kind of casually talking to her, and she saw I'm a Chiefs fan, obviously. And we're talking about that. And then she casually mentions the neighbor behind her. They kind of split a house, like a front house, back house. So I'm seeing her a lot more, but the guy in the back house is an Eagles fan. And I'm like, Jesus. So I'm like, it just kind of gets filed away. I'm like, God, whatever. I don't do this. And so I'm taking the trash out last week. And we kind of have a lot of trash piled up because we just moved in and we're getting rid of some stuff. So it's kind of put the trash can there, and he's kind of over to the side here. I don't really know the guy. I haven't even met him yet. And he just kind of gives me excuse me, sir, I need room for my trash cans too, just FYI. And he just said it in such a condescending way. At least that's how I interpreted it. That I was just like, I just kind of stared at him and I was like, and I kind of swallowed every response I had and just kind of, okay. And I moved the trash can a little, even though he had plenty of room. I wouldn't, get in his area. He had plenty of room between his garage and the trash out there. He had room. It was fine. I looked at it. I assessed it. Okay, I'll move it just to be whatever. And I'm coming back inside and I'm telling her Dirk about it. And I'm kind of realizing that, like, I think the Eagles part of this guy is just calling my judgment on everything. Like I'm kind of realizing that I hate the Eagles as much as any team as I have before. Like I hate them more than the Bills or Ravens or Bengals in recent history. Like the only comparison is really the Broncos throughout the years. Maybe the Colts for what they did to us. Like they've caused us a lot of harm, but like the Broncos is like the only team that really brings out the hatred like that. And I'm kind of realizing this, like after the week 2 loss to the Philly, I was way more negative on this here show than I usually am. And it's just because I'm tired of the Eagles. And you know what? I realized I had a long off season and I hate the fucking Eagles, man. That's what I realized. That's my sports thoughts.
Get out of my fucking cab. Why? Is it because it's the Super Bowl loss? Is it you? I can tell you the top of my list is Sirianni. Like
the city, the uniforms, the having to watch them on prime time all these years when they're boring.
The fans.
Their Kelly green uniforms are great, by the way, but their dark greens are as bad as it gets.
The Kelly green.
Their style of play, I don't even hate the tush push that much, but the conversation around the tush push, like having to hear that over and over. Like the only thing I kind of like, Jalen Hurts is I don't mind him whatsoever. He's like the only person I don't like. But yeah, Sirianni. It's just,
Producer Nick says, stupid ass song. What is it about the Eagles and the Broncos that they have to do some sort of spelling, syllabic, come on, please. And now I got the, I don't care.
they didn't even spell it right half the time.
I think, yeah, especially like their politicians. She botched that so wonderfully. I think
it's wild to say. It's wild to say that they're on that level of these other teams that like are true rivals. I mean, I guess the Bills and Ravens haven't beat us when it matters that much. The Bengals have, but I never reached the point. Like I never reached the point with the Bengals that I have with the Eagles.
I think I hate the Bengals. I think I have like the visceral hatred of the Bengals because the Bengals have also acknowledged it or not acknowledged it in the case of Jamar Chase, where he literally refuses to say Patrick Mahomes' name. And like that team, it feels like their confidence against the Chiefs is all because of like the worst meltdown that we've maybe ever seen from and arguably the second best quarterback of all time already. And I just like the Bengals getting to that Super Bowl feels very fake and very fraudulent, and they haven't done anything before or after it. And so it just feels like this big outlier, and yet they still are like, we can beat the Chiefs. We can beat the Chiefs. We're better than the Chiefs. And so I think it's still the Bengals for me in terms of just like, who do you think you are? But with the Eagles, I can't remember where this reference is coming from. But in a movie, someone's talking about how your face like makes me want to punch you in it. And that is the Eagles. Whatever the face is of the Eagles, they're just punchable. They just irritate me. I don't like that Jalen Hurts is the picture of stoicism and his coach is the picture of douchebaggery. And I don't like that their fans are like would throw batteries at Santa Claus and all the old school Philly stuff either. I don't like how tough they are on their teams. I just there's a lot about all of it that is just like not my vibe at all. Not interested.
Chasing out Andy Reid, part of it too. Maybe that's. I
mean, I feel very protective of Andy Reid, and I think beyond that protective nature, I feel very possessive. I know he spent a lot of time in Philly. Who cares? All the good stuff happened here. He's ours.
I know coaches and players don't go in with a certain team in the NFL Hall of Fame. He's going in as a Chief. I don't care. I don't care if that's everybody debates those facts, and that's a baseball thing because you go in with a hat on in baseball. NFL, you don't go in with a certain team, but still, he's going in with an arrowhead on his head.
You know how I know we're friends?
An arrowhead on his mustache.
That is exactly where I was going to go. He's going in as chief. I don't care. I don't care.
Doesn't matter if it's factually incorrect. I don't care.
The next time the Kansas City Chiefs play football, they're going to be in Duval County, Florida, playing the Jacksonville Jaguars with their new head coach, Liam Cohen. Their old quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who's still.
I don't think anybody say anything. Nobody says Duval anymore. Did the coach ruin it?
Oh, no, I think it's like a thing.
I know it's a thing. I usually hear it all the time. I haven't heard it at all.
Well, I think the Jags have the highest point differential in the league through 4 weeks. They've been playing a lot better defensively than people want to give them credit for. Those really high draft pick defensive ends, both of them in the top 7, starting to really become players for the Jags. So that's going to be an interesting matchup on Monday night. And hey, guess what, Dirk? After this Monday night road game in week 5, the Chiefs get 3 straight games at Arrowhead Stadium. So we can all start to settle in a little bit, maybe feel a bit more comfortable, because after the first of those 3 games at Arrowhead, number 4 is coming back. This has been Amateur Hour. I'm Ryan Scott Hall. He is his Dirkness. The Chiefs and Jags will play on Monday Night Football, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Rich.